once again. Now this is the Major League Baseball one, folks. MLB trade rumors, blockbuster trade that happened yesterday. The broadcast didn't really happen properly. I didn't get no sound, but now I'm back once again, folks. So this is the deal. The biggest trade in a long time for the Texas Rangers. They get the player they wanted to get in 2012. They get Prince Fielder. They give up Ian Kinsler. He's not making too much money. He's making big money, but not big money like Prince Fielder. He's making about $20 million a year. So, I mean, this is a huge deal. With the Detroit Tigers to get rid of a big close to $164 million to get off their payroll. They send it to Texas. They send a few dollars to help for that contract that Prince Fielder's making. I think this is a good move for Prince Fielder. I think, long term, this is going to probably help him, and long term will help Detroit in terms of re-signing Max Scherzer, re-signing Miguel Cabrera to mega deals, or re-sign to big contracts in the near future. In the end, it's all about money. Money. It's not enough money to go around, and I think with Texas, there looks like they're going for it. I hear rumors, just today that I wouldn't be surprised to see Texas trade Jerkson Profar probably and another pitching prospect to the Tampa Bay Rays for David Price. I think that trade will happen. That trade and a few other moves will happen before they bring in the big fish to play second base for them in the near future is Robinson Cano. I think John Daniels is all in. From the latest I've been hearing from ESPN and Fox and a few other ones, MLB Trade Rumors is my main source of information. I mean, these guys are the best. They always have the information right there where you want to see it. Even ESPN, they always, on top of their game. Fox is starting to catch up. They got their own networks and all these insiders happening. They're the best in the world. I'm pretty good too. I relay the information. You guys can hear what I gotta say. I've been doing it since 2008. These videos and they've been good. I've had a series. I've had countless other videos over the years, but I mean these videos are good information that you MLB fans around the world that love to hear baseball in the off season. I've done my best to get you guys the information, get you guys the news on what's really going on behind the scenes. The winter meetings are coming up. I'm hearing that the Blue Jays are definitely going to be active this off season. They won't be as active as they were last offseason when they acquired Jose Reyes, Mark Burley, Josh Johnson, Emilio Bonifacio, and John Buck, and then traded John Buck to the Mets and acquired Josh Tolley and R.A. Dickey, and a few other young prospects in Travis Denard and Noah Syndergaard. So, and even with the Marlin deal, when they sent off Anderson Hernandez and a few other top prospects there to acquire Reyes, Mark Burley, and Josh Johnson, but those moves didn't really work out. Josh Johnson turned out to be a bust. He was hurt most of the year. He just couldn't win. He had his worst season ever as a professional. Here's one guy that used to be able to throw 97 miles an hour. He's come down to about 92, 93, even 89 miles an hour he was throwing most of the season. They were hitting the hell out of Josh Johnson. The big Texan, just not the player he was when he was with the Florida Marlins. When he was with the Marlins, Miami, Florida Marlins, he was a great pitcher, great starting pitcher. He could have been $100 million pitcher. And now he's making $8 million 1 year, $8 million, close to probably $4 million, basically $8 million with incentives with the San Diego Padres on 1 year deal. This guy at one time was going to be a superstar, power right hand thrower, just like Josh Beckett, just like Nolan Ryan, just like Roger Clemens, those great Texas arms, Kerry Wood. But it's injuries, and when he was younger, early in his career, he had a major elbow surgery. I think it was a Tommy John. I don't know if it was Tommy John surgery, but he had shoulder surgery, and he has never been the same pitcher since then. And it didn't work out with the Blue Jays. I mean, they tried. Sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. The Reyes injury really threw the Blue Jays off in 2013. Batista was hurt most of 2013, and then Encarnacion couldn't continue the magic he had from 2012. But that's what happens, Health is so important. Ricky Romero development, here's a guy in Ricky Romero who has won 18 games in a season, and he's lost his confidence. And the most important thing for Ricky Romero is he must work on his courage, he must work on his confidence, and he must go play some winter ball this off season. I mean, if he goes and plays a little winter ball, I think his confidence and his pitching will get better for 2014. I think that's what management needs. They need something out of Romero. I mean, he's getting paid a lot of money. He's making what? I think he's making $9 million a year. He's making big fat money, man, playing in the minor leagues. So he has another 4 or 5 years left. I think 4 years left on his deal. So I mean, Ricky Romero needs to get it going. I mean, he has a lot of potential. He's still a young guy. He's like 26, 27. Has a lot of potential to be ace of a staff, and he was the ace of the staff. When they brought those pitchers in, it knocked him down the pecking order. He was supposed to be on the team in 2013, but his confidence. He couldn't throw strikes. He was throwing it wild. He was walking a lot of batters. He was getting hit quite a bit in the spring training. They sent him down for a few months to work on some stuff in Single A. It just didn't work out for Ricky Romero. So, with the Blue Jays, I wouldn't be surprised if they go get some pitching. And there's been a few names that have come up in recently. There's been the pitcher in Japan. There's been talk there, but I think the Yankees will probably get him. He's their pretty much the number one priority. They want to get Tanaka. I think this guy is the real deal. He went 24-0 in the Japanese league. This guy is awesome. I mean, you think Yu Darvish is good? You think Arabu was okay? He wasn't that good. Kagawa wasn't good at all, but you think he's like Kuroda. He's very, very good, and that's another pitcher that's going to get big money. Hiroki Kuroda. He's either going to sign with the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Rangers, or the Angels. I think the Angels will overpay to bring a guy like Hiroki Kuroda. Hiroki Kuroda is still a free agent. From what I've been reading, I think Kuroda would be a good fit with with either the New York Yankees or the Los Angeles Angels or even the Toronto Blue Jays. That's one thing the Blue Jays need. They need some experienced pitchers to go with their big arms they got. Don't forget they lost Josh Johnson to free agency, so now they need to bring in another arm. So they're either going to trade for an arm or they're going to sign an arm. And my gut tells me they're going to bring in a big name. And that big name could be Bronson Arroyo. You know why I say Bronson Arroyo? I think Bronson Arroyo needs to be on a team that is trying to get into the playoffs. He needs to become. He doesn't have to be the man, but he needs to be on a team that has aspiration of winning a World Series. And the Toronto Blue Jays are still in that mindset. They think they can still get to the playoffs and win a World Series. And just like the Detroit Tigers, they have the same mindset. And I think a Bronson Arroyo could be that sign-in that Blue Jays might actually do if they can't find the guy through a trade. Because recently I've been hearing lots of rumors that Jose Batista, there was a rumor that going around that there was some talk that the Phillies and the Blue Jays are still actually in discussions over a Batista for Dominic Brown, and I think one of their pitching prospects, and another player from the Blue Jays that would go. It would be a horrible deal, I think, but long term it would actually be a pretty good deal, because don't forget this young guy Dominic Brown, I think he had 30-something home runs this past season. He had 100 RBIs. There's lots of potential. He can play center field, can play right field, can play left field too. This could move, Cody Rasmus probably to right field, or they could move Cody Rasmus to get some more pitching help in the bullpen. So, the Blues just have one of the best bullpens in baseball. I just wonder if they'd trade one of their guys like Steve Dellenbar or even Brett Cecil. So we'll see what happens. The latest news today is that free agency, when you look at Brian McCann, you look at Carlos Beltran, there has been some talk that Carlos Beltran might even go back to his old team, the Kansas City Royals. There is some tire kicking on that. The New York Yankees are definitely interested in Carlos Beltran. They are talking to Carlos. They're trying to sign the guy, but he's testing the waters on every team. The Chicago Cubs are interested in Carlos Beltran. His old team, the Cardinals, are still interested in Beltran. So, there's some teams, even the Mets, the New York Mets. I heard recently they talked to Robinson Cano this past weekend with Jay-Z, his new super agent. They were just talking, you never know. Mets can come out of left field and sign the guy. They need someone like a Robinson Cano. They need that superstar. They need to take a lot of the limelight from the New York Yankees. The Yankees get everything. The Mets get nothing. That's my favorite team in New York. The Mets, the Athletics. Those are my teams. The Blue Jays. Those are my teams I love to watch. And the Houston Astros at one time. But the Mets need a player like a Robinson Cano. I mean, it would just be amazing. I mean, the shock. And to see a player like Cano go to the Mets, that'd be nuts. To see him go to the Texas Rangers, where I think that's actually going to probably happen, because I think that the conversation between Daniels and Cano's management will be enough for him to sign with the Rangers. I think the Rangers are going to break the bank. They'll sell an MLB record. They did it with A-Rod, and I think the ownership now is more involved. I mean, with Nolan Ryan out of there. Now I think they're going to give Daniels the green light to sign a player like Robinson Cano to a huge deal. It could be in the $310 or $320 million range. Like A-Rod, 10 years, I mean, it's a lot of money. I mean, Cano's my age. He's 31, and that's a lot of money. He's a few months older than me, but that's a lot of money, man, and committed to a player that I think over the next few years he might start to decline, like Jeter, and we'll see. As long as his bat's still good, he's still good defensively, because by the time he hits 33, 34, he's going to start to decline a little bit, but I think he'll still hit 20, 30 home runs every year. But he'll start to decline as he hits 34. So I think this could be a risky move for the Texas Rangers, but if they want to win the World Series, I think they got to do it. Man, they have no choice, man. I mean, look what the A's have done. They've been winning the division year in, year out. The last 2 years, Texas can barely get into the playoffs. They get knocked out in the first round of the wild card, or even a division series 1-game playoff. Juan Washington's he's running out of chances. I think if Texas don't make the playoffs or even win the division, it might be curtains for Wash. So I mean, this could be the biggest deal in the winter meetings. So I think after the deal that they acquired Prince Fielder, I really think in my heart that this could be the evidence you want to see as a fan of Major League Baseball like me. And I love big deals, love big trades, love big moves, love big games. Like in the World Series, we saw David Ortiz, big home run, winning the World Series, in front of his home fans and everything. I think this is going to be a big deal. I think it's going to happen. There's a lot of pressure on John Daniels, so I think in the next few weeks here we will find out news that it's official that Robinson Cano will sign a 10-year deal worth $320 million with the Texas Rangers. That's just a ridiculous deal, but they're desperate and they need help and they need it now. And they need to make the playoffs and they need to win a World Series. I mean, Dallas Cowboys, getting all the press in Texas, the football team, and it is a football town, and even Dallas Stars and the Dallas Mavericks are starting to get a little more press clippings than Texas Rangers. So I think this is a very important move for the Texas Rangers. I think if it comes down to it, they will sign Robinson Cano. I think the Yankees will try. They'll try a few times. They're not going to move from where they're at. I think they'll get desperate. They'll try to give him $200 million, and he'll probably reject it, and we'll see what happens. Well, yeah, and Chris Carpenter looks like he's called it a career. What a great career! 15 seasons, won 2 World Series. He won a Cy Young. He's had numerous arm problems. Just to think, he was a former Blue Jay who could barely make the Toronto Blue Jays, but when he gets traded to the Cardinals, becomes a superstar, becomes the star he is today. Is that something? I think Cito Gaston did see something in that guy. Wow. And him and Roy Halladay was such a close relationship. Coming through the Blue Jay system, I would say for Chris Carpenter, you're the man. Between Chris Carpenter and then hockey Adrian Aucoin, here's are 2 guys that love the game, played hard, put everything out there on the line. 2 good people, that, in the sports world, sometimes on news they don't really talk about players retiring much anymore, but, I'll talk about it, because these are players that I grew up watching play. And I realize that, they're not going to play forever. And so when you get to appreciate their careers, you appreciate it. Even Todd Helton, he played in Colorado, he called it a career. And a few others have called it career recently in sports, and you appreciate these guys. Grant Hill, Tracy McGrady in basketball, and countless others, even in football. Have called it career, and they've given a lot to the game. And there's been some sad news. In football that there was an accident. Former player Thomas Howard died, and a young man, Mr. Lou, died in an accident recently. So hey. You gotta be careful out there, folks. Driving wherever you go. Just gotta take it one day at a time. And the thing is, retirement's real. You can't play forever. It's just a sign of the times. And here's some other news and notes. Looks like Tim Hudson signed last week with the San Francisco Giants. And I think this is a big deal for the Giants. I think they need to compete with the Dodgers and the Rockies. I think those are the 3 teams you got to watch for in that division. It's going to be a tough division. It's going to be another long season. The Rockies signed LaTroy Hawkins, a former closer of the Mets. LaTroy has always been a great setup man / closer. He's 40, 41. He's getting up there in age, but he's still one of the elite pitchers in baseball. It's like Darren Oliver was with the Blue Jays. He's still a great pitcher. Age is just a number. Look at A-Rod and Jeter. These guys are getting up there, but they're still superstars for a reason. They still put butts in seats. Fans around the world still want to watch these guys play, even though A-Rod, he's taken some abuse from the fans. He's took some abuse from Bud Selig, but hey. Bud Selig's Bud Selig. He's the commissioner for a reason. He is the disciplinarian. I think that suspension's a little uncalled for. I think 80 games is enough, and I predict 80 games will be from the arbitrator, because I think that's just a little too unfair. And the Yankees need A-Rod, because they're going to probably lose Robinson Cano. They're going to be outbidded. Texas is going to sign him, and like I say, they need A-Rod. Period. When they didn't have him last year, they struggled. Kevin Youkilis was hurt most of the year, and he played a little bit. He could have really helped with the Yankees, but he just couldn't stay healthy. They really need A-Rod, unless the Yankees are going to go make a deal and maybe get Chase Headley. They're not going to give up their premium prospects to get Headley. So, it's put up or shut up time in New York. They can't keep losing every year. The Knicks are losing, the Yankees are losing, the Rangers are losing. They're all losing. The Islanders are maybe winning a little bit. New Jersey, that's on the Jersey Shore. So, it's up and down in the city that never sleeps. Your teams are really becoming losers. Only the Jets are looking good this year. The Giants are up and down, in football, the New York Football Giants and New York Jets, but it's an up and down type of game. And some other signings, Skip Schumacher signed, former Los Angeles Dodgers, signed with the Reds this past week, and Brandon Ryan re-signed with the Yankees. He came in late in last season before the playoffs, and he turned out to be a pretty good pickup for the Yankees. So they re-signed him, and then you have Josh Johnson sign a one-year deal with the Padres. I think this is a good pickup. I think as you get closer to the trade deadline next season, I think Josh Johnson probably will get moved to probably maybe the Yankees or the Giants, or even back to the Blue Jays for some pretty good prospects. So we'll see what happens. It depends which teams are in the playoff race. If San Diego's in the playoff race, Josh Johnson stays, and they'll probably re-sign him to a long-term deal. So we'll see what happens. The Prince Fielder deal is pretty shocking. I never thought Tigers would actually trade that guy, but they were coming up against it with the financial situation where they had to move some players out so they can get some help, and that's what they did. They had to get some infield help, especially second base. First base, now they can move back Cabrera to first, or Cabrera probably will still play third base, but I don't know. He'll probably move back to first base. This is a perfect move for Cabrera. He's just breaking down. He's so young, and his body's just breaking down. He's won 2 MVPs the last few years. Miguel Cabrera, the star of MLB The Show 14. I'm hoping MLB 2K14 comes out. I'm hearing it's going to come out. It looks like it will come out for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4. I mean, the games have been successful. PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PC. So 2K14 will happen. We'll just see. I really hope Virtual Concepts, they really, do something and make the game really good, because it used to be really good. Ben Brinkman is a big reason why 2K Sport games were awesome. He's a big reason why MVP Baseball was awesome for EA Sports. There's been talk EA Sports might get back into baseball, but it won't be this year coming up. I think it will be the year after, 2015 or 2016. So I can see 2K and EA Sports making games for Major League Baseball, just like Sony does. So that's the word. Coming out of EA Sports, they're definitely going to get back into baseball. Right now they're focused on the UFC and the World Cup for FIFA. But I can tell you right now, they are definitely, after they can't make college football games or basketball games right now. Maybe one day they'll come back to it, but I hear from some people in EA Sports that I can guarantee you, that they will make a baseball game probably in 2015 or 2016, and it will be the best baseball game ever made. The show is starting to become the best baseball game ever made. I think Nintendo need to get back into baseball, like make a Wii baseball game, like they used to do, with third party use or something, whatever they need to sign with Major League Baseball. But I think even Kotomi, I'm hearing that maybe Kotomi and 2K Sports might work together to make the next baseball games for from 2K and Konami with their new engine, the Fox engine. So we'll see what happens. But 2K, I can guarantee you they will come out with a game for 2K14. Major League Baseball is going to come calling, and they're going to say, hey, make a game. And they will. And they'll have help from Kotomi that will work with, I think, 2K Sports, Take-Two Interactive, Virtual Concepts, and Havoc and Kotomi on a baseball game that will keep your eyes. It's going to be good. Be able to compete with Sony finally. For the first year ever, I think 2K is going to finally scrap what they have right now with the baseball game, and they're going to make it the most realistic baseball game you ever seen on the new next-gen systems and even on current-gen. They're going to try to make it as good as the basketball game. They're going to scrap some stuff. The graphics still going to look okay. I mean, the graphics do look pretty good. And they're just going to scrap a lot of stuff. The running mechanics, there's just a lot of stuff they need to fix up. With the people from Kotomi, they will fix up a lot of the gameplay mistakes. But we'll see what happens. If they work together, we'll see what happens. I think 2K and Kotomi will work together on one of the best baseball games they could probably make for 2K14. So we'll see what happens. I still believe that game will come out like with the show. The show is going to be even more better than ever before, graphically, gameplay wise. I hope commentary wise they can bring in a new play-by-play man, and the guy I think they should bring in from 2K is Gary Thorne. I think Gary Thorne would be a good pick to be the new play-by-play man for this game. You got Steve Lyons. Maybe replace Eric Karros. Bring in someone that has been really good on Fox Sports. He's retired from the broadcast booth, but they can bring him in Tim McCarver. Tim McCarver would be perfect for MLB The Show 14. I think a lot of you fans would love to see that happen. Even for 2K, if they do lose Gary Thorne, bring in Dan Schulman and Buck Martinez. Replace Steve Phillips and Gary Thorne. Dan Schulman and Buck Martinez, when they used to do Blue Jay games, were the best. I mean, these guys working together were the best. And you see Buck Martinez on Toronto Blue Jay broadcasts and Rogers Sportsnet and Sportsnet in Canada. And, you know, he's done ESPN games over the years and stuff. But I think those guys will bring something to those games and make it more real and make it more fun. And we'll see what happens. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I hear that, you know, Gary Thorne might be going to the show. So, makes sense, you know. Take over for Matt Vescursion. So Vescursion can focus on, you know, his duties at MLB Network and Fox and get out of the video game business for a while. He's been in the video game business for, like, last 5-6 years. So it's about time you get him out of the game. You know, you get Karros out. He's kind of got stale. It's time to bring in someone more serious. Like a Tim McCarver that has watched millions of baseball games, and you have Gary Thorne that is one of the game's best. You know, he does all the hockey games and does the baseball games. So, I mean, yeah, it just has to be a change of focus for these games going forward. Because, you know, that's one thing fans over the years have been complaining about MLB The Show is the commentaries. It's just not good. You know, they don't talk about much. That's why the MLB 2K and NBA 2K, their commentaries have been the best in all sports. And EA Sports is starting to catch up with their commentary, but you know that's why 2K is the best right now in terms of the commentary part of the video game. And that's one thing to show. Once they bring in Gary Thorne, you will start to see what they do at 2K and they'll do to the MLB The Show to make the game, you know, with the commentary, the banter, you know, just the chemistry you'll see in MLB The Show 14 and MLB 2K 14. When the Dan Schulman takes over for Gary Thorne, you will see a much more impressive ESPN style broadcast than you've ever seen before. So we'll see what happens. Take care, folks. This is Mark Spencer for MLB Trade Rumors for this beautiful day of November 21st, 2013. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the future. Bye.